Hello everyone, this is going to be realizations I had and lessons I learned in 2025 videos. There's 2 of each. And also quick disclaimer. The end of this video, the last lesson, I filmed yesterday. I filmed this entire video yesterday. I was editing today and it sounded like a whole bunch of nothing. So I was like, okay, let me just sit down and refilm the first half. That's why also you might notice I have mehndi on my hands right now, and then in the last part I don't, but that's that. First realization is that, this is my notebook by the way, is that I have become way too comfortable making dumb, stupid sacrifices to stay within my comfort zone after saying, I want to get out of my comfort zone. And yes, prioritize comfort. But when I say I've been making stupid, dumb sacrifices, I mean that I have been telling myself, I want to go to the park. I want to go to the park. I love going to the park, which is true. But then I will stop myself by being like, but if I go to the park, I'm going to want to wash my hair. And I already showered today. And I don't feel like washing my hair today. Or today I don't need to wash my hair. Stupid stuff like that. Once or twice, yeah, that's okay. But I spent the entire year making stupid, dumb excuses like that. Basically holding myself back. And this was a realization I had this year because I was doing some self-reflecting, as one does, and I was like, sometimes I give advice that I don't take. What I mean by this is because I am one of those people with the mindset of, if you grow complacent, you will start to lose yourself. Lo and behold, I am an example of that right here, right now, right in front of you. That's so embarrassing. Isn't that just like kind of so funny how that works? Isn't that so funny how that works? Here's an impromptu life lesson, I suppose. Sometimes life gives you lessons, life shows you lessons. Sometimes life throws obstacles and hurdles at you to make you realize that you are not living by your own words that you previously thought you were living by, or that you forgot to live by. Impromptu lesson. And let's move on to a lesson I had written down. People change and don't remain the way they were when you last saw them or talked to them. Yeah, and sometimes this means that your paths are no longer aligned, and that is okay. And yes, this is a lesson that is very common, very basic, but it is one I have relearned this year, so it is important to mention and important to know, because I am, again, a huge proponent. Why did I say again? I haven't talked about this before. I am a huge proponent of don't hold on to people who don't want to be held on to. And I think this whole, sometimes your paths will no longer align because they're not the same person they were when you last talked to them, when you last saw them, really ties in with this mindset of letting people go if they don't want to be held on to. Even if they're not aware of it. Sometimes you just drift apart unintentionally. Such as life. I learned that lesson again. This is one of those lessons that I keep relearning in life. And I think it's something that a lot of people keep relearning in life, because sometimes friends you thought you were going to have forever in your life are just suddenly not there anymore. I'm genuinely okay with it, but that was unexpected this year, and with this friend. Such as life. You can't hold on to people who don't want to be held on to, or who are not meant to be held on to. We're gonna move on to the next realization I have, and that is that I have a hard time communicating my vulnerability. I was raised in a household, in a family where feelings are not talked about. Feelings are not talked about, you don't talk about your issues much, and I guess somewhere along the way, I learned to stamp them down, keep them all hidden. Even with my siblings, it's kind of weird, we kind of skirt around these topics. We're close, but sometimes it's hard being vulnerable with them as well, if that makes sense. I hope somebody out there knows what I'm talking about, but at the same time not, because it does suck. Yeah, point is, we grew up in a household. Why am I saying we? They probably have different experiences. Sometimes you grow up in the same family, but with different experiences. So that's why I'm gonna keep saying I instead of we. I grew up in a family where feelings weren't really talked about, emotions weren't really talked about, and if they were often either brushed off as being insignificant or laughed off as being insignificant. And it kind of grew into this thing where I'm not very open with my feelings or emotions, and I feel very, very vulnerable talking about some of the simplest things at times, embarrassed even, and I want to cry at times, and usually my vocal cords will not even form any vibrations to get the sounds out. That's how bad it is. And I realized this year, because this year I was like, you know what, I want to be more, what's the word, more, it starts with a C. I want to be more, what's the word, when you call people out on their actions, or confrontational, that's the word. I wanted to be more confrontational this year and tell people in my life, especially people who I hold dear and near, that if they had something, I wanted to be more confrontational, not aggressive, not picking fights, but confrontational in the sense that if someone close and dear and near to me, a friend, a relative, says something that really hurt me, I wanted to confront them and have a conversation with them, be like, hey, this hurt me, and this is why, this is how it hurt me. Even if you didn't mean to, I want to let you know, I don't like it when you talk to me this way, I don't like it when you say this to me, etc., blah, blah, blah. I wanted to explain myself more when I was misunderstood on the smaller topics, etc., and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I just couldn't. Every time I would start to, it's like my sentences would just stop forming. Like, I could say words, I could make sounds, but they just wouldn't make sense. Even right now, while talking about this, I'm starting to heat up because I feel like I'm making no sense. I feel like I'm making no sense. In a way, I would say I am so terrified of being vulnerable, expressing my emotions, expressing my feelings, which I know everyone has, obviously, duh, and getting brushed off or being invalidated in a way that makes me feel like I'm crazy, like I'm overthinking things, like I shouldn't be feeling this way because it was such a small matter. But at the same time, I know it's very, very important to talk about things. It may seem small to them, but to me, it could be soul-crushing, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. So this is something else I want to work on, but it's gonna have to take really, really small baby steps. It's gonna have to take really small baby steps. It's kind of funny because the friend who I lost this year, that makes it sound so dramatic. The friend who is no longer my friend, my close friend this year, is the friend who inspired me to be more confrontational and ask, why would you say that? Or, hey, I don't like that you said that, because she is a very, very confrontational person, and she has been for the duration of our friendship. But it's kind of funny that the year that I was like, I'm going to take the initiative to make this a part of my life as well, is the year we grew distant. Kind of funny in its own way. So now we're caught up, and we are going to move on to the portion I had filmed yesterday and felt comfortable keeping in here. Fair warning, however, it is still a little bit of a word vomit, but I feel like I can't reiterate myself any better. So I hope that's okay. Last one on my list is giving up is easier said than done. I got interrupted. Anyway, what was I saying? You might be like, but Sonali, these are very basic lessons that most people learn very early on in life. Hey, life lessons are life lessons. They keep coming at you in different situations all the time, okay? This year, these are the 3 lessons that came to me, not in a dream, but an experience in life. And this was one of them. Okay, it's really situational, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Basically, this one is in terms of YouTube. It's in terms of YouTube, specifically this channel. I need to fix this camera. Actually, I don't know how I can. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. For me, when it comes to YouTube, this is probably my 5th or 6th channel over the years. And this year alone, I have gone through 3 or 4 different eras, so to speak, on this channel alone. This year alone, on this channel alone. This is... Why would I say that? I created this channel this year. What other year would I have gone? Point is, I went through 3 or 4 different eras this year alone. Why do I keep... I went through 3 or 4 different eras on this channel alone this past year. And it's because I can never stick to what I want my niche to be, what I want to be posting, because I think of one, I'm like, wow, that sounds really fun, that sounds really cool, and I get bored of it. I grow, what's the word? I get burnt out from it, or I just, like I said, I get bored with it. I start overthinking it, and I'm like, oh, this isn't working, that isn't working. This, at the start of this year, I said that this channel, the one you are watching this video on, I would give up on YouTube if within 6 months of posting regularly, consistently, once a week, same type of videos, if I didn't make it within 6 months, I would give up. Suffice to say, it has been well over 6 months. I have not given up. Instead, I've pivoted. I've pivoted what I wanted to post. I like making videos. I feel like while making videos, I can truly kind of turn my brain off and let my mouth run like a motor. Let my mouth run like a row your boat. I can let my mouth run I can turn my brain off and let my mouth run like a motor. And also I feel like it gives me another, what is the phrase? What is the term? How do I say? It gives me another way to explore myself, another way to explore my mind, my thoughts, and my personality, who I am as a person. It lets me be creative, and I feel like it's just so much fun for me to create videos, to film videos, to edit them, and then to post them even. And I realize it's okay if I don't make it. Who says that the only way you can post videos on YouTube is if you make it? If you're a big content creator, if you're a big YouTuber, if you're this or that, blah, 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 blah. No one says that. No one says that. And I won't lie and say it won't be nice, or I don't have hopes still of making it on YouTube. But now I think it's okay if I don't make it on YouTube, because at the end of the day, what I really enjoy making, what I really enjoy about YouTube and what keeps me coming back to YouTube is making videos. I really love to just sit here and yap. And I have created, or I have built, or a community has come to me. Ooh, a community has come to my channel, and it's really nice. I love interacting with people in my comments, and that's what matters to me at the end of the day. Making videos, enjoying them. And I realized I don't give a gaff about a niche. And I know I said I don't give a gaff. I feel like I have to clarify, because I said it to my sister, and she got on my case, where she said, why would you say I don't give a gaff? You know what gaff means. You know what degaff means, right? You don't have to say I don't give a gaff. It's already covered in the degaff. I'm like, shut up. What is going on? Let me go see what the yelling is about. Okay, I have come back to you all. I reached such a flow state just now while saying all that. I have no idea what I just said. I have no idea where I stopped. Let's reconvene. Now that we've taken a breather, now that I have taken a breather, and let me finish my thoughts. If the past several channels have taught me anything, and we're not going to deep dive into any of my past channels, maybe at 500 billion gajillion subscribers, I won't deep dive into them. But if there's one thing they have taught me, and even earlier this channel, what all of these combined channels have taught me is that I need to give up on niching down or trying to fit into one niche or having one specific type of video. Because that's when I start losing the excitement to make videos. That's when I start losing the fun in filming and editing and uploading and rewatching my videos endlessly. This is what's really fun to me. What I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. I don't want to follow any specific aesthetic. I don't want to post any specific niche-y type content. I just want to sit here and film what I want to film and upload what I want to upload, and that way hopefully it'll remain fun for me. I won't get burnt out. I'll have a constant stream and flow of ideas, knock on wood. And even if I flop, which I currently am and have been on all the past channels, I won't care, because I'll just still be having fun, and that's what matters. That was my giving up is easier said than done lesson for this year. Aren't you so glad you stayed and learned the context of that very basic lesson for this year? gist of it is that I have realized I'm going to keep posting regardless. If not on this channel, I'm going to go and create another email account, which is going to be just another hassle to keep up with because I already have a gajillion emails thanks to creating new YouTube channels constantly. It's just like, anyway, I've realized that I'm going to keep coming back to YouTube. I'm going to keep posting regardless if I make it or if I don't make it. And having a niche is just going to make things harder for me. And if you think about it, isn't this a niche already where I just sit down and I talk about whatever I want to and I post whatever I want to? That is a niche in and of itself. I don't know what it's called, but it is a niche for sure. I don't like that I said that. But if you watched this far, thank you so much. I really, really, really freaking appreciate you. And I will see you next time. Let me know what major lessons you learned this year, even if they're all old lessons rehashed. I don't care, but I will see you all next time. Be kind, be smart, and stay safe, everyone. Bye.